Welcome to the second video on adding and subtracting signed numbers. Let's begin. So remember, in the last video, I taught you there are three different ways to really understand or conceptualize how to add and subtract signed numbers. One way is to rewrite them. So if I want to rewrite 5 plus 2, well, there's not really much to do here because they're already both positive. How can I understand 5 plus 2 in terms of money? Well, remember, anytime you have a positive number, that means that you have money. So this is like you have $5 and then you get 2 more. Therefore, that means that 5 plus 2 is 7. Another way to understand this is the SSS-DDD method. So this is determining whether the two numbers, 5 and 2, have the same or different signs. As you can see, they're both positive, so that means that they both have the same sign. Therefore, we add them, and then whatever the sign of the numbers is, in this case positive, we give that sign also to the final answer. So again, 5 and 2 are both positive, therefore 7 must also be positive. Let's look at number 2. We have 5 minus 2. If desired, we can rewrite this as 5 plus negative 2, or we can even put the negative sign in parentheses if desired. This helps you remember that that negative sign is married to and attached to the 2. It's stuck there, it belongs to the 2, it does not belong to the 5, and wherever the 2 goes, that negative sign has to travel with it. If we want to turn this interpret this in terms of money, the 5 is positive, so this means we have $5, and then we spend 2. After having spent $2, we still have positive $3, right? We still have $3 in our pocket left over to spend on something else. If we want to interpret this in terms of the SSS-DDD method, right, that means first we have to determine if 5 and negative 2 have opposite or the same sign. As you can see, they have different signs, opposite signs, right? So we find the difference. The difference between 5 and 2 is 3. Again, then we figure out the dominant term. 5 is bigger than 2, and the 5 in this problem is positive. Since the dominant term is positive, that also means that our answer is positive. Okay, let's look at number 3. We have 2 minus 5. That's the same as 2 plus negative 5. Again, reminding us that that negative sign belongs to the 5 and travels with the 5 wherever it goes. If we interpret this in terms of money, it's like we have $2 and then we spent 5. Well, we just spent more than we had, therefore we're in debt. Specifically, we're in debt $3. We owe somebody $3. Okay, so if we think about this in terms of the SSS-DDD method, we can see that they have different signs. So we find the difference, ignoring which one is positive and which one is negative. We know the difference between 5 and 2 is 3. Then we say, okay, well, which one is the dominant term? As you can see, 5 is bigger than 2, and in this case, the 5 is negative. Since the dominant term is negative, therefore the final answer must also be negative. Okay, number 4, not much to do here as far as rewriting it. But if we talk about money, we can say that we owe $5 and then we get 2. Again, the implication is that as soon as I get money, it goes to paying off that debt. However, $2 is not enough to pay back my debt. Therefore, I still owe $3. Another way to interpret this is that they have different signs. So we know that the difference between 5 and 2 is 3. And we know that the dominant term, right, 5 is bigger than 2. So the dominant term is the 5, which is negative. Since the dominant term is negative, the final answer must also be negative. Okay, let's do this next 4 problems. So again, first we can rewrite this. Not really anything to do here. Okay, interpreting it in terms of money, we owe $2 because it's negative. Then we get 5. Again, implying that we pay back our debt. We pay back that $2. And after we pay back that debt, we still have $3 left over, which is a positive 3. In terms of the SSS-DDD method, we know that they have opposite signs, so we find the difference. We know the difference between 5 and 2 is 3. And we know that the dominant number is 5. Remember, 5 is positive. Since the dominant term is positive, our answer must also be positive. Okay, negative 2 minus 5, we can rewrite this as negative 2 plus negative 5, if that helps you. Again, remembering that negative sign in front of the 5 belongs to the 5, and of course the negative sign in front of the 2 belongs to the 2. In terms of money, this is basically saying that I owe $2 and then I borrow 5 more. I am now a whopping total of $7 in debt. In terms of the SSS-DDD method, I know that they have the same sign. I know that the sum of 2 and 5 is 7. and I can see that the sign of both of those numbers is negative. Therefore, my final answer must also be negative. So for number 7 and 8, remember I have to apply that rule. Minus a negative is the same as plus a positive. Minus a negative is the same as plus a positive. Okay, say it over and over until it gets in your brain. You have to rewrite 7 and 8. This is not optional. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite 7 as 2 plus 5. I'm going to rewrite number 8 as negative 2 plus 5. Okay, if you skip this step, the rest of your problems is going to be wrong. Okay, so you probably know that 2 plus 5 is 7, but we can interpret that in terms of money, that you have $5, then you get 2 more. In terms of SSSDDD, we can see that they're same sign. We know that we are going to sum them, and of course, since they're both positive, the answer also must be positive. For number 8, right, this is like I owe $2, but then I get 5. So I have to pay back that $2 that I owe, and once I do, I still have $3 left over. Okay, for SSSDDD, we see that they are different signs, so I find the difference. The difference between 5 and 2 is 3. Then I look at my dominant term. As you can see in the rewrite, the 5 is the dominant term, and it is positive. Since the dominant term is positive, therefore my final answer must also be positive.